How to do the armbar from mount in Jiu Jitsu. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know everything that you need to know to master this armbar. The armbar is one of the most common submissions in Jiu Jitsu. I'm gonna show you the exact technique, and you can do this with perfect technique, but if you do it at the wrong timing, it's never gonna work. So I'm gonna show you, more importantly, when to do it, and then how to get the setup and how to get the finish. Are you ready? Well, let's do this. Let's get started. So I'm gonna show you full speed, and then we're gonna break it down. Most people, when they get the mount, get thrown right off the mount. They get the mount and they're looking around and they're like, oh man, I gotta go for this armbar. And Cam just throw them, yeah, just, oh. And they get thrown off or they get elbow escape right away. The thing I like to do when I mount someone right away is I like to mount them. I'll never just do this. I'll always lock them down first. I lock my feet under his butt. I bring my heels up as high as I can. And I drop my hips and my gut right on his solar plexus. I lift my hands off of the ground. Because if I lift my hands off the ground, I put all my weight on him, crushing him. And what this does is two things. Number one, it's great control. It's probably not gonna just throw you off here, because I have a nice wide base and my legs are locked for the elbow escape. So there's two ways he's gonna get out. He's gonna throw me off with an UPA or just throw me off, or he's gonna try to elbow escape his leg out. My legs being locked under his butt stops the elbow escape. My hands being wide and my hips dropped stops the roll. So I want him to struggle. I want him to burn some energy. Push me up, yeah. Good. I want him to try all that, and I don't want it to work, obviously. After a while, he's going to give up on it once he realizes it's not gonna work. And once he gives up, I know his energy bar went down, and now it's time for me to come into a position where I can go after a submission. By the way, are you liking this content? If so, subscribe, ring the notification bell, because I got new videos like this coming out all the time now to help you dominate on the mats. So the armbar. Obviously, we're never, ever gonna just try to lift. That's white belt stuff. It wouldn't work anyway. Keep your elbows tight. There's no way I can lift that up. We have to get his arm up on his own. He's gotta do it on his own. So how do I make him do it on his own? Well, on the gi, I would go for a gi choke. And then as I'm choking him, he's gonna use his arms to defend. Freeze, freeze. Look at his elbow. But in the no-gi, we don't have the gi to choke him. So what we're gonna use is two different things. One called the what time is it grip, and the other is shoulder pressure. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna make him want to grab me to stop whatever's going on his face, because it hurts. He doesn't like it, right? So the first step is I take my hand, I put it on his trap. This blade, so you have a wristwatch section, which is really mushy, and you have vein section, which is really mushy, but then you have these two blades on each side of your arm. I wanna grab his shoulder, I want to put the blade into his neck, and I want to hook it up into his jaw, right there. Boom. And once I do that, once I put it on his jaw, I check my watch. We call it the what time is it, because it looks like you're checking the watch. Boom. And this doesn't feel good at all. So he's gonna take that arm and try to stop it. He'll either try to push it, he'll either try to grab my shoulder to try to pull it away. He's gonna do something, he's gonna make a reaction. When he does that, this elbow comes up. When that elbow comes up, I gotta get my hips underneath it. So that's the whole point. Second way is shoulder pressure. I could drive my shoulder. Look, he's gonna grab my shoulder every time. Pull it down, boom. Because that stops him from getting my shoulder into his face. And I could be choking him. This could be choking him out, so boom. So no matter which one of those I use, he's gonna reach this arm up to stop it. And when he does, I have to get into what we call the S mount. So the S mount, my knee comes up under his armpit, and I want to get it at least level with his head. Anything lower, he's gonna get out. At least level with his head. Boom, he grabs, boom. Just gotta get used to doing that. Now my hip is underneath his elbow, okay? Now I don't need the what time is it grip anymore. The what time is it grip was only to get his elbow up for me to get to this position. So holding this what time is it grip now doesn't do anything. So now what I need to do is I need to lock the door. So I release the what time is it grip. I use both of my hands. One goes to the neck, one goes to the temple, and I drive his head into his shoulder, smushing him against my hips. At the same time, my other foot is gonna go underneath his armpit. A palm on the floor is not gonna work. I have to go and put the back end of my foot under like this. You should be able to see the bottoms of your feet if you're doing this correctly, nice and tight. So it's called S mount because right now my legs are shaped like an S, right? If I don't do anything, if I just sit here like this and he moves his head over there, he's gonna just swivel your head over here and put your elbow to the floor. He's gonna get his elbow back to the floor. So that's why we lock the door. I push his head into his shoulder and I push my hips into his shoulder at the same time. I'm making a cam sandwich, right? Not a ham sandwich, a cam sandwich. So my hands are the bread, my hips are the bread, cam's the meat, squish. Now Cam, try to get your elbow to the floor. It's locked in, okay? And once I have him locked in, it's over. So all I need to do now is I need to make this leg light. I can't throw this leg over his head, sitting all my weight on it. I'm not athletic enough at that point. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lean all my weight over this right knee. So first, lock him in, drive the hips into him. Now I lean all the way this way, right shoulder to right knee. As I lean this way, my left leg is completely light now. Look, I can move it wherever I want. I can lift it off the ground. If I stay here, I can't. Okay? So I lean this way. As I lean, find the arm, I keep the neck, step, my foot replaces my hand, and I sit. Only once I sit and I pull him in nice and tight and replace my hand with my foot, do I release the neck. Now, I find his wrist, because I already had it loose, straightened. I clamp, 2 hands clamp. I don't want him to turn the wrist. I lie down, extend the arm as I raise my hips. My knees are together, okay? We're not doing this, my knees are together. My right foot's under his armpit tight, my left foot is in his neck. I bite my heels close, that's as tight as I can get it, and knees together. So you're biting your legs and you're pinching them together. And we're pulling this down while clamping. I don't want him to be able to hitchhike out. Clamp, pull down, and usually when you pull down that you'll get a tap, but if he's flexible, raise your hips through the elbow and you get your break. So again, what time is it grip? He grabs, all my weight's on this hand, so I can put my weight down. Boom, knee, head level. Okay, hand goes to the neck and temple, foot comes under, lock the door. Lean, find the arm, because we don't want him locking up his hands and right here. So before he could do that, I lock it, lean, replace, sit, pull him in tight, replace the hands, knees pinched together, find the wrist, lie down, and raise the hips as we pull down. The thumb must be facing the ceiling. If it's faced this way, it doesn't break when I pull it. If it's faced this way, it doesn't break when I pull it, it bends. I need his thumb to be facing the ceiling, that's why I clamp it, pull it down, raise the hips, we get our finish. And all it's doing, just so everybody knows, is hyperextending the elbow. When I pull the wrist down and I throw my hips up, this will pop. So you can learn all the great technique that I just showed, but if you're doing it at the wrong time, or you're rushing it, or you're not doing it when you're supposed to, you're already in a dominant position. You're gonna lose that dominant position. You don't wanna lose it. You wanna be able to make sure that you're gonna get this arm bar. You wanna make sure everything's right and at the right time before you actually go for the finish. So when do you do it? Okay, so obviously but before we get to that, are you learning a lot from this video? If you are, just imagine what I could teach you in an entire full-length course. My course, Mount Attack Blueprint, will give you everything you need to know on how to control the mount, how to get the arm bar like I just showed you, and all the other submissions you need to know from the mount. So just click the link on the description and I'll see you inside. Now let's get back to this video. So when do you do it? Okay, so obviously if he lifts this arm at all, I'm just jumping into that S-mount position. Boom, I'm not waiting, okay? Why would he lift it? Well, he'd lift it to try to push me. He's pushing me off of him. This is a great time to go for it. He's giving it to me. If he doesn't do anything and he stays disciplined, that's when we were using the what time is a grip. So as I use the what time is a grip and that elbow comes up, that's when I want to get my hips under. So anytime you look down and this elbow is not on the floor or not tucked tight in here, comes up for any reason, my hip, my leg, my quad dives under, knee past the head, boom, and I lock the door as quickly as I can. Once it's locked, we're not opening. Do not rush the armbar. It's a process. Hit all the steps, the elbow will come up and you can take your time. The best way you know it really well is if you could take your time and do it step by step, and there doesn't have to be an athletic, speed and rushing it. You just go for it step by step. Boom, the arm comes up, boom, lock the door, foot comes under, lean, take. If I rush it, or he baits it for me and then I go to a quick rush in it and he rips it out and he comes up, this is no good. So how do you practice this? Your mind knows the technique now, you know the common mistakes, you know when to do it, but let's get our body to actually feel the movements and how to do it. So we're gonna show you a drill now, okay? So you take your partner, he's lying down on his back, and he's like in the arms crossed position, so his elbows are up. He's showing us that he's making a mistake. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one hand, I'm gonna split in between his arm, grab his neck, lean forward, and I'm gonna jump to that S mount. Boom, all at once. Foot under, remember, padding up, not padding down. And I'm gonna clamp. I'm gonna come back to the center. I'm gonna split the upright over here, fist on the ground, boom, jump to an S mount. And don't worry, everybody has a good side and a bad side. This is my bad side. I don't really ever go for an armbar on this side, but here we are. Comes in. But do you notice how I'm not doing it in steps anymore? I'm literally just jumping my body into it. So it's like this. Lean. I lift my legs up. I just jump into it. You do that enough times, your body will get used to it, and you'll end up, when it's time, just jumping, boom, right into the armbar and taking it. Second drill, we're gonna be in the armbar position where, like we're about to finish, but we don't have the arm. So we're gonna go from this side of the S mount finish to the other side. So how we do that? One hand on the floor, other hand on the top elbow that's furthest away from you, and I'm gonna lift my butt up, and I'm just gonna swivel towards the head, right? I'm not swiveling towards the body, I'm swiveling towards the head. So it looks like this. This leg that's over the head now becomes the armpit leg on this side. I sit on him, and this foot now becomes the leg that goes over the head. Here we are. So then I take this arm, hand on the floor, so all my weight's going on the hand on the floor and on his elbow. And I lift, and I'm just gonna make a 180 spin. Watch this foot. It goes from the head, and it circles around to his armpit. Just set the timer for 1 minute. And then he goes for 1 minute. And you get used to that circular S-mounty type motion. So once you've mastered this armbar, there's so many other places that you can get the armbar from. So for example, now you're in the guard, right? Obviously the setup is gonna be different, but once you get to the position, boom, everything else is the same. The armpit, the head, knees pinched together. Boom, you can take it from guard. Boom, you can take it from side control. You can get it from the back. Everything's the same. It's the same armbar, different setups, different positions. But once you know the mechanics of it, all the rest of them become much easier. So once you know the mechanics of the armbar and how to do it, you're gonna be able to get it from all those different positions. And we are gonna be shooting different videos on each of those positions in the near future. So now that you know what to do with the armbar, you know exactly how to do it, when to do it, common mistakes, all of that, go out and master that armbar. It's one of the most important submissions in jiu-jitsu. And if you like what you see and you wanna learn more, make sure you subscribe.